Mark Carney condemns Poilievre's insidious plan that will change Canada forever. Mark Carney, the newly elected Prime Minister of Canada, has taken a firm stance against the proposals put forth by Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, labeling them as insidious and potentially detrimental to the future of the nation. As the political landscape heats up in the lead-up to the upcoming federal election, Carney's condemnation reflects a broader concern about the direction in which Poilievre aims to take Canada. Carney's criticisms are rooted in a deep commitment to preserving the values and principles that he believes define Canada. He argues that Poilievre's plans threaten to undermine these values in several key areas. Carney's first major concern is the potential impact of Poilievre's policies on economic stability. He emphasizes that Canada has worked hard to build an economy that is resilient and capable of withstanding global pressures. Carney believes that Poilievre's approach could destabilize this framework, leading to consequences that might ripple through various sectors of the economy. For instance, he points out that a sudden shift in fiscal policy could disrupt markets and investor confidence, which are critical for long-term economic growth. By advocating for a balanced economic framework that supports growth while ensuring that essential services remain intact, Carney positions himself as the candidate who prioritizes sustainable economic health over short-term gains. Another significant aspect of Carney's critique revolves around social equity. He is particularly concerned that Poilievre's proposals may disproportionately affect low-income families and marginalized communities. Carney argues that the Conservative leader's policies could exacerbate existing inequalities, leaving vulnerable populations even more at risk. He advocates for a more inclusive approach that ensures all Canadians benefit from economic prosperity, rather than a select few. By emphasizing the importance of social equity, Carney seeks to connect with voters who value fairness and community support, highlighting his commitment to a society where opportunities are accessible to everyone. Public services are a cornerstone of Carney's platform, and he warns that Poilievre's plans could lead to cuts in these vital services, which are essential for the well-being of Canadians. Carney believes that investing in healthcare, education, and social programs is crucial for building a strong and resilient society. He often cites examples from provinces where austerity measures have led to declines in public health and education outcomes, arguing that these cuts can have long-lasting effects on communities. Carney's approach underscores the belief that a government's responsibility is to support its citizens, particularly in times of need. He envisions a Canada where public services are not merely safety nets but are robust systems that empower individuals and foster community growth. In addressing environmental responsibility, Carney has positioned himself as a leader who prioritizes sustainability. He has been vocal about the need for policies that address climate change, viewing them as essential not only for the planet but also for future economic stability. Carney sees Poilievre's proposals as a step backward in environmental stewardship, potentially leading to increased carbon emissions and environmental degradation. This perspective resonates with many Canadians who are increasingly aware of the urgent need for action on climate change. By advocating for green technologies and sustainable practices, Carney aims to position Canada as a leader in the global transition to a greener economy, which he believes will also create jobs and stimulate innovation. In response to Carney's criticisms, Poilievre has defended his proposals as necessary for revitalizing the Canadian economy. He argues that his plans will empower individuals and businesses, fostering innovation and growth. Poilievre contends that excessive government intervention stifles creativity and entrepreneurship, asserting that reducing bureaucracy and regulation is essential for unleashing the potential of the Canadian workforce. He believes that by allowing the market to operate with fewer constraints, he can stimulate economic activity and create jobs. Poilievre has challenged Carney to provide concrete alternatives rather than simply condemning his approach. This exchange illustrates the broader ideological divide between the two leaders as they attempt to sway public opinion in their favor. While Carney emphasizes the importance of a balanced approach to governance, Poilievre focuses on the need for radical change and a return to what he describes as fundamental principles of individual freedom and economic opportunity. The political landscape in Canada is characterized by a growing polarization, with both leaders appealing to distinct segments of the electorate. Carney's strategy involves emphasizing the importance of a balanced approach that prioritizes the well-being of all Canadians. He aims to present a vision that combines economic growth with social responsibility, appealing to those who value both prosperity and equity. Carney's supporters see him as a champion for the middle class and those striving to improve their circumstances, and he often shares stories of Canadians who have benefited from public services and investments in social programs. On the other hand, Poilievre's campaign is focused on dismantling the status quo and positioning himself as the candidate of change. He seeks to rally support by presenting his vision as a solution to what he describes as ineffective governance. His approach resonates particularly with voters who feel disillusioned with traditional political strategies and are eager for a fresh perspective. Poilievre's rhetoric often emphasizes personal responsibility and the belief that individuals should be free to pursue their interests without heavy-handed government oversight. This message appeals to those who value autonomy and are frustrated with what they perceive as government overreach. As the election date approaches, both leaders are engaged in a battle for public opinion, utilizing social media, public appearances, and debates to amplify their messages. Carney is working to connect with voters through grassroots outreach, emphasizing the importance of listening to the concerns of Canadians. He often participates in community events, town halls, and discussions that allow him to engage directly with constituents and understand their needs. This hands-on approach is designed to build trust and demonstrate his commitment to serving the public. Conversely, Poilievre leverages a more combative style, often challenging opponents and emphasizing his vision of a Canada that empowers individuals. His campaign rallies are marked by passionate speeches that energize his base, and he frequently uses social media to communicate directly with supporters, bypassing traditional media filters. This strategy allows him to maintain a strong connection with his followers and keep the momentum going. The exchange between Carney and Poilievre not only highlights their differing visions for Canada, but also reflects the broader societal conversations taking place across the country. Canadians are increasingly engaged in discussions about the role of government, social justice, and environmental responsibility. As they navigate the complexities of the current political landscape, voters are grappling with the implications of each leader's proposals. Mark Carney's condemnation of Pierre Poilievre's plans underscores the significant ideological divide between the two leaders. As Canadians prepare to make their voices heard in the upcoming election, the contrasting visions for the country's future will undoubtedly shape the political discourse in the months to come. Voters face a critical decision: to choose a path that prioritizes economic stability and social equity, or to embrace a more radical shift toward individual empowerment and market-driven solutions. Ultimately, the outcome of the election will not only determine the leadership of Canada, but also set the course for its economic and social policies in the years to come. The choices made at the ballot box will have lasting implications for the future of Canadian society, influencing everything from healthcare and education to environmental stewardship and economic justice. As the campaign unfolds, both Carney and Poilievre will continue to refine their messages, attempting to resonate with an electorate that is increasingly engaged and aware of the stakes involved. The election is not merely about choosing a leader. It is about defining the kind of Canada that citizens want to build together. As the political conversation evolves, the engagement of voters will play a crucial role in shaping the future direction of the country, making it imperative for both leaders to connect meaningfully with the electorate and address the pressing issues that matter most to Canadians.